or when you enter, it's called the Pool of Bethesda and the Church of St. Anne. Two places or two things in one place that literally not connected. So since we were inside, we will, you know what, I have to start from the beginning, so it doesn't matter. You see the valley here, and you see that below there is water. This is actually a valley that before everything was built in, was a valley that included water, had water in it, and this water run east, connect with the Kidron Valley, and the water continues to the Dead Sea. People coming to the temple, and remember I asked you to see how close the area of the temple is from the gates? From here, if you walk to 20 meters, you get in the gate and you're in the area. People coming to the temple can go in providing they are healthy. People who are not healthy, they suffer from skin problem, diseases, whatever, they have to stay within a distance of the sanctuary. And what a better place to spend the time than near water. Okay? Today we call it hydrotherapy, but in the old days they didn't have names for it, but we know that water heals. For drinking, for soothing the body and everything. And this was the place, it was a huge valley full of water. Now you have to remember that in those days we had more water than we do have today. Plus the whole structure of the area is changed due to earthquakes, due to a lot of constructions that's taking place here and in early days. So these people are here. Now before actually Christianity takes its place, and even before it's the temple is here, pagan people who live here, they build a shrine here dedicated to Asclepius, the god of medicine. Later, when Christianity takes its place in the, when we say Byzantine time, as an official religion of the empire, a church is built here to commemorate the event of the healing in Jerusalem. Okay? And Jesus says to him, pick up your mat and walk. Now think about the situation. A lot of people are coming to the temple. Many of them are not fit to be near the sanctuary, so they stay here. Now the structure of the land is such that the water doesn't stay constantly on the same level. Because remember we spoke about water in the desert yesterday? And I told you that if they don't dig cisterns and if they don't divert the water in channels, the water just flushes down to the sea. However, in Jerusalem, the layer of the land is very strong stone, dolomite. And dolomite allows the water to penetrate in. So when you have those layers, the water do penetrate. It reaches a level where it can't go further down, and then it fills up, and then we have springs coming. The water bursts out, they fill the valley, and then gradually they walk down. Now, with all these people sitting here or standing here, waiting for the water to bathe, and if a man is crippled, and he finds it difficult to crawl, by the time he gets, the water are gone. So just imagine that scenery where you have loads of people at the bank of the water waiting for the water to come. Now the name is Pool of Bethesda. So pool, you know what a pool is. Especially when somebody puts a dam and divides it into two parts. But what is the word Bethesda? Does it make any sense to you? You think that if you go to the books, it will be explained? It doesn't have a meaning, because it's actually two Hebrew words that are put together in English that makes it with no meaning. In Hebrew, it's Beit Chesed. What did I ask you about the word before we went into the church? About what is the doing of Jesus here? What was the word? Grace. And in Hebrew, the word grace, chesed, is a very powerful word. When you do something out of your heart, without expecting anything, when you really wish to help the other person. You can do it by giving money. You can do it by cooking and bringing the food. You can take the person to the hospital because he doesn't have transportation. Whatever you do, as long as you do it from the bottom of your heart. That's chesed. And today, in the Jewish society, when you have a lot of enterprises, and there's a very famous saying, say, do chesed with me. Show me mercy, show me your kind of heart. That's what is done here. So it's called Beit Chesed, house of grace. From Beit Chesed in Hebrew, it becomes Bethesda, which in English, unfortunately, doesn't mean anything. That's the place. However, the church is destroyed by the Persians. And the Crusaders arrive here. And unfortunately, and I think from learning about them, that they must have failed their geography and history lessons because they're not aware of the place as it is. They build a church and they commemorate the place as the house of Mary's parents. You have to take the Bible again and tell me if there is anywhere in the Bible that says where Mary was born. Do we know? We know she lived in Nazareth because in the forest near Nazareth there is another place showing the house where Mary was born. Do we know where Mary died? Do we know how she looked? We have very specific information and that's it. Everything else is a tradition. And yet the Crusaders come and they build this beautiful church, this beautiful building. Look at it. And you heard the echo. When the Muslims take over, Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi arrives here. He sees the building. Usually they destroy it and they make something else or they turn it into a mosque. But he goes in and he hears the echo and he turns it into a Muslim school, madrasa. You can see the evidence also with the windows. You know, in the Muslim world, usually the houses or the places are blocked like this so the women can look outside, but if they're standing at the wall, at the window, nobody can see them. And thanks to that school that is operating here, the building is not destroyed. So this building is from the 12th century AD.
12th century?
Yep. Beautifully kept.
After